do our call today. As a matter of fact, she deserves a proper introduction. Dr. Reed is Senior Executive Marketing Director and really making some outstanding things happen and making huge contributions to the team. And I just want her to know that we really, 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 really appreciate her. And also, she was instrumental in setting up this line that's helping people to get on without having to pay a toll, okay? So just want to bring you up to speed. So, Dr. Reed, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the call over to you. If your guest is there, fine. If not, we'll converse back and forth if you like, but the call is yours. And, guys, what I will do, I will go ahead and report the call as well, okay? So with that said, hold on one second, Dr. Reed. Hey, Dr. Reed, the call is yours.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get started, I just kind of like to give a backdrop and thank everybody for getting on the call. I do have some special guests on the call, and one of the most special guests that I have on the call is Ellis Brown. And Mr. Ellis is from Morgan State University. He is a potential athlete for the Senior Olympics, and I thought that it was so imperative that he gets on this call because we all know that exercise without nutrition can cause a problem. My goal is to allow Mr. Ellis to hear this message so he can take the information back to the athletic department at Morgan State University, because I'd like to bring Dr. Wallach to Morgan State University. So there is some things that I'd like to accomplish with this call. So without further ado, I have Kevin Marshall Jr. on the phone. Kevin Marshall is a special guest, and I'll tell you how special he is after the call. But the reason why I have him on the call is because I've been following this young man for the past 28 years, and I've followed his athletic career from his elementary school football, through high school football, through college football, and now through professional football. And I've seen the physical changes that his body has gone through over the years and how we were able to see some things and how we were able to employ longevity to his career, and how we realized that over the years, some of the problems that Kevin has had through his athletics had everything to do with nutrition. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Kevin on the line, and we're just going to have a conversation. Hi, Kev. How are you?
How you doing? What's going on?
Okay. So can you give the audience a backdrop of who you are and how you've been in athletics your entire life? Can you start with that?
Yes, absolutely. Number one, I'm Kevin Marshall Jr. I play extremely a lot of football. It's my love and passion. I graduated from Shippensburg University with a bachelor's of sociology. I also left sports from college with high honors, along with high school as well. But if I was to get started, it all started when I was 8 years old in the 5th grade. I was really fast. I was born with blazing speed and really good agility, and I was a really good racer. I love to race kids, and that's how it all happened. Long story short, the coach ended up bringing all the kids together, and he had a pile of all his equipment. I didn't know what it was. Long story short, it was shoulder pads, helmets, etc. And I was wondering why nobody was on the playground to race, because that's what I do every day. It was like my greatest thing. I could just beat any kid for some reason. I don't know why. So afterwards, the coach wanted to form a football team. And what he did was he wanted to bring all the kids and put them all in a straight line. And he told all the kids to run down to that coach and run back down, which was about 200 yards total, 100 yards down and 100 yards back. And I was ecstatic. I just said, yes, it's my opportunity to show the coaches I can win. All I wanted to show them was my speed. Long story short, he ended up putting me, what happened was, it's a little funny as I move forward, because I'm going to fast forward. The funny part of the situation is the fact that the coaches was formulating an offense and a defense. It all starts with the offensive line, defensive line, and offensive line. Well, what happened was, we're kids. So the coaches was putting all the bigger, fatter kids on the line, and he put the skinnier, faster kids in the positions that we know of today, wide receiver, running back, etc. What happened was, funny part was, he put me in a way back, which is you had the fat guys first, and then the quarterback, and then the fullback, and then in the way back as the running back. I felt so left out. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go up there with the rest of my friends and talk. but all he was doing was just putting us together. And little did I know, he gave me the football and he told me to do something that I always would love to do, and that was run. And my last funny story is how I knew the game of football entirely. He told me to get a play. We're calling the play, run the ball to the right side, and I want you to run to your coach on the opposite side of the field. That's exactly what I did. And out of nowhere, one of my friends had blindsided me so crazy, I wanted to quit. I looked at the coaches. I said, why are you letting him do that? It is not right. I know you saw him hit me, but I didn't know that was part of the game. So after that alone is the reason why I'm extremely good at playing running back, because after that one hit, I realized how much it hurt and how much I had to evade other defenders in order to do so. Now, fast forward.
Okay, so Kev, let's stop there, because that's a good backdrop. Because what I wanted to bring out is children get into athletics at a very early age. We put our kids into Little League and all types of different sports, but what we're not realizing is putting the child in a sports potentially can cause some challenges. And Kev, let's talk about the challenges you've had. So I remember when you would get off the field, you would be very winded. I remember when you would get off the field, if you hadn't had an injury, it would take a little longer to heal. Remember those times?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so tell us what would happen when you would, would make a run and get off the field, and you would be standing there breathing really heavy for a long time. Remember the time I think you shared with me that one time you was in the shower and your heart was racing real fast. Remember those times?
Absolutely.
So can you give us a little scenario about that?
Absolutely. Well, a typical kid, I was running around and playing the game for what it has entails. I did notice as I was getting a little older, around maybe towards 9th or 10th grade, my youthness left. I was able to run around prior to that, without stretching, without the knowledge of proper nutrition. I was a typical kid. I did notice after the games, I started to get feeling really tender behind the legs and the hamstrings. I started noticing some thigh problems, and also my breathing, my cardiovascular was very low compared to where the other kids were at. Now I was very athletic, but my stamina lacked greatly, and I couldn't always hang the whole way through certain quarters and certain areas of the game. So, yes, I do remember those things, and it happened out of nowhere. I absolutely do not know why at the time that they were happening. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't really focus comprehension. I had comprehension problems since I was since 6th grade all the way up in college, which we will discuss further on how that was fixed. I was fixed, but I had those problems, and I didn't know why. And after every game, there was an extreme problem that other kids wasn't going through, and I was. Absolutely.
One of the things that really sticks out is the fact that not only were you playing in the sport since what was it, 5th grade? How old were you? Fifth grade. But you also went to practice, and you practiced during the spring season with full shoulder pads on and 100-degree weather, if not hotter. And what did you have to drink during that time during the sidelines? What were they giving you to drink?
Oh, absolutely. At the time that I was in, especially with the knowledge we have now, but in the time, it was only water. It was only water, and sometimes they was giving out, in college, I remember, college was only water on the sideline. They didn't give anything else at all. No magnesium or anything. It was just only water, which is not enough.
Mm-hmm. And so let's fast forward to college ball, because I know that now that you're in college ball and you're really playing football seriously, because your goal was to get to the NFL. And I hear somebody's call. Please put your phone on mute. Please put your phone on mute. So I remember when you were in college, what was happening was you were not only practicing, but you were also lifting weights, correct?
Yes.
And you were also you ran track off season. So you're an all-around athlete, right? And so you were in competition in track, and you were also in competition while you were playing football. And so one of the things that I remember that you would call and you would say, that you had an injury and it's taken too long to heal. Can you expound on that?
Absolutely. Actually, there's when you speaking of college, that was most likely. You know what? I'm actually 100% sure. That was when trials and tribulations in my body was really starting to kick in. It wasn't only the hamstrings. This was my primary flaw or situation I was going through. Every game, every practice, there was always something tender. And when I did pull, it took longer than 30 days, which statistically would say a hamstring would take about 26 to 30 days to heal properly, or at least at a 90% rate. My hamstrings was taking about a month and 2 weeks, a little longer, than I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was I going through that, I was also going through gaining weight problems. Now, statistically, if you look up every person that played football, by the time they're a freshman, all the way up until their junior year, they're in prime form. They're about 21, 22 now, a lot more testosterone output, and most athletes gain about 15, 20 pounds up until their junior year because of the lifting programs, the nutrition, and everything that the program puts you through in order to be where you need to be in 2009. I wasn't gaining weight at all. I was 183 pounds from my freshman year all the way up to my junior year. And I was still very electrifying, better and pretty good as an athlete, but I could be way better if my body was operating the way it's supposed to.
You sound muffled. Can you fix your phone? You sound muffled? Okay. So what it sounds like is you've been playing a sport or been athletic since the age of 9 or 10. And because of that, you've consistently been in a sport, which means you were consistently sweating, consistently training, consistently giving your body the opportunities to work out and do what you needed to do. But would you say that as the years went by, you noticed that your body started getting weaker, even though you were trying to do better in your sport and actually even work harder to be better at your sport? Is that what was happening?
Absolutely. There was I used to look at my other teammates. I noticed that now I was always Kev Marshall to the coach's eyes. I was always a star player, and I made it work for what I had. But what I noticed as a team player perspective, I noticed that like I said, when I was in 2000, I came in at 06, and by the time 2009 came, I had noticed that I was still around 183 and 185 pounds. That is not an NFL running back, and you need to be a lot more stronger and bigger for them to even look at you, especially the time that I was in. What I noticed was my friends that came in at the same time that I have, they were 210, 205, 196, 100. I mean, it was just sky's the limit with everybody. And I slowly but surely became the lean muscle, smaller guy on the team, and I did not like that at all. Now, I thought at first that it was a part of me and that's what it was going to be, but, later on in the future I learned that it was not the case.
Okay. And so, again, it sounds like as a running back is a player that's on the field a lot, and you're using fast twitch muscles, quick bursts of energy, you're burning up a lot of resources and fuel. There's a lot of practice time, and you have been doing this since you were in 5th grade, which means you're about 9 or 10 years old. And so from 10 years old all the way to 21, that's 11 years of exercise and training. And instead of getting better, you didn't get to the peak potential that you wanted to get to. So let's fast forward now to your professional football career. And tell us about your professional football career, you playing football overseas in different countries.
Well, that is absolutely amazing as well. I really like the professional. But what it is a lot of people don't understand what football overseas is. They have football over there? They do. Football overseas in Europe is getting very, very on the rise. Especially that the NFL already are broadcasting games now, sometimes in London and other places because they're trying to make the sport become global, like all the other sports are. Well, as far as the whole European thing, I really like it because, number one, I'm playing football on a professional level is really great, but the atmosphere and the glory and the energy that comes about it is one and the same as the NFL. The big stadiums exactly the same way. The fans, fantasy drafts, everything's the same. I'm just in another location. Now, the other reason why I'm very, very excited about it, according to what we're talking about, is I'm no longer 183 pounds. I'm about 198 at a size that I want to be. Lean muscle. My stamina is really awesome. Believe it or not, I'm 28 years old, but I happen to be just as fast or almost faster than when I was 21. I know that sounds absolutely kind of far-fetched, but it's absolutely true. I put a lot of work in, but like she said, it takes a lot of nutrition and a lot of hard work in order to do so. But as far as my career and professional, I am living a dream. I am loving it, and I'm also injury free. Luckily, from my standpoint,
well, that's the exciting part because we're about to get into that. And so while you were overseas, this last stint, you were in Finland, right? You were Finland this time? Okay, you were in Finland, and you gave me a call, and you said, oh, my goodness, I have this injury, and they said I need surgery. Tell us about that episode. Oh, man.
Should I get to what helped it or just tell the story in general?
Just tell the story in general. Let's kind of condense it and just kind of say, you know.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, well, in Poland, 2015, last year, I ran through the hole. I got the football from the quarterback, and long story short, a person came from the side of me and hit my big toe. So the person was coming from the right to the left as I was going straight. And he was flying across me trying to hit me, but I saw him and dodged him. What he did was, instead of catching my body and knocking me down, I had stepped back and his body took my left big toe and kept the momentum going from right to left. And my body was going forward. So if you can imagine that, my left foot twisted all the way to the left, and it caused my left knees inside meniscus to be torn. So it kind of, as a body going forward and another body coming across from you, it took my foot and stretched it over to the left where I the meniscus. What happened was
you had a meniscus tear.
Absolutely, it did. It was
okay. Let's talk about okay.
Okay.
All right, got it. We got it. So what happened after you had the diagnosis?
After the diagnosis came. Actually, I was successfully. There was say it's 10 games in a season. This particular injury happened on game 7, which would mean to be 3 games left. So I was able to still play on a torn meniscus, but I didn't know at the time that it was a torn meniscus. I just knew my knee was acting funny, but I was still able to run. The diagnosis came after I came back from home because I knew there was another season to come, which was Finland, the one I just completed. I knew I was going to Finland in this coming past May. Now, the diagnosis came about, if it was May, the diagnosis came approximately between February and March because it was a 2-month span when it got better. What happened was I knew around February and March I had to go play another football season professionally in 2 months in Finland, and I had to be right. After the diagnosis, they told me, sir, you're going to need surgery on this meniscus. So I freaked out. I called my mom. I said, hey, they're talking about getting a surgery, and I'm going to do it because I need to be ready. What happened was she brought something to my attention that I wasn't able to see. Forgetting the fact that surgery requires cutting open the body. So by cutting open the body and for them to actually go into the knee and do whatever it is going to do, also required after the surgery was done, it was going to take about 2 to 3 months to heal from that part. I totally lost sight of that. So she said, no, do not get surgery because of that fact, and I have other means why you shouldn't, and then I'm going to give the rest to you right there.
Okay. So what I did was I sent you longevity products over in Finland. Yes. And they took a little long because we had to get through customs. But as soon as you started using the products, you started getting on the longevity products, and what happened to your meniscus?
Okay, so we have to backtrack now because the products that came in Finland...
We don't have time to backtrack. We need to go forward.
What you're trying to say is, after the products came around in March, before I went to Finland. Mm-hmm. Products came in March, and I was successfully able to be on a strict regimen that I did not mess up. I was consistent. I took exactly what I needed to take far as because longevity is based on a body weight type of dosage. So everybody's different as far as dosages. I took my dosages, and I was very consistent for about a month and a half to 2 months straight. My meniscus tear completely healed itself, and I literally had no surgery, and I was able to go to Finland and to play very well, and also we lost in championship, but it was a very great success. The point is, longevity healed my knee without surgery, and what they say is the body, if the body has whatever it needs, it will heal itself, and I'm a testimonial that is 100% true.
Okay, so this is a phenomenal story, and Kev took the cat out of the bag. Kevin is my son. He's my oldest son. He's been playing football since he was a little boy. And what I tried to bring out is if you have children that are playing sports, and they're playing sports through grade school, middle school, high school, college, and potentially the pros in whatever their sport, over time, these children are going to have health problems. They're going to have health problems because not only are they not getting the food, the nutrition out of their diet, but they're also depleting the stores of nutrition that they need in order to sustain themselves, and that's happening during the developmental years. And so Kev did also share that he had some cognition problems, he had some respiratory problems, he had some joint problems, and this is a child. So can you imagine if you're an older adult and you're trying to stay on point with the sport, or you're trying to maintain your activity level as you get older, if you do not supplement or put the 90 essential nutrients in your body, then your body will break down. Dr. Joel Wallach has already said, proven, researched, and it's all documented. Exercise without nutrition is suicide. Why is it suicide? Because it depletes the nutrition out of the body, and what will happen? A lot of times you'll have athletes that'll drop dead because of a heart problem. And people don't realize that it's a heart problem because the body is lacking nutrition and the heart will just stop. And so, Kev, can you share with us the many times that that's actually happened to you on the teams that you've been on and the athletes that you've actually seen drop dead on the field? Can you share with that briefly about that?
Briefly, yes, I can. I know what you mean by that. In 2006, I first experienced that. 2006 was my freshman year in college. We had to take this physical test that all NCAA in the whole country as a freshman had to take in football camp. What it was the 110-yard sprints with a 45-second break in between 16 times straight. It's very, very hard, and you have to be in shape to do so. Long story short, the whole team is separated in positions, running back, et cetera, quarterback, et cetera. My friend was named Vince, I forgot his last name, but he was a really cool guy. I met him in the elevator when we was about to do the test. He told me it would be okay, everything will be fine, you'll do great. Long story short, he's a bigger guy. He's like one of those lineman guys that's on the line blocking in the trenches. What happened was, I really applaud him, but what must have happened was, throughout the 16 reps that we had to do, and with a 45 second in between resting, about a lap number 9 or 10, he started slowing down very greatly. So the other players that was in his group were very energetic, and they were still running at a high velocity rate. He started slowing down very drastically. What happened was, when you're in football, what happens is you feel very triumphant to try to impress the coach. So you don't want to show no weakness at all. And that's what the problem was. Not only was he malnutrition, obviously, his will to not give up and show the coaches that he was a slouch, he kept going past the threshold that he didn't have. What he did was, he should have stopped, and he didn't. And long story short, he ended up dropping down to the ground. The John Deere cart had to come pick him up, and we put him in a tent. He was laying down in the tent for about 2.5 hours, and at first it was funny because he was like, wow, Vince is really tired. He's da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, by the time lunch came, ambulance came, and he died. He died because of overheating and I think overheating stroke, I believe, and his body could not calm down from cold water to save his life. And obviously from malnutrition that I know, he did not have everything he needed, and he overpushed himself past what his body already had, and ended up killing him, and it was very sad.
And how old was he?
He was only 18 years old. We were freshmen in college. I mean, it was so messed up because all family members, including you, hey, drop this off on a Friday, and your son dies in 2 days, that's ridiculous. That's just insane. But that's what happened.
Right. And you've seen that happen again. What was the other time?
Another time, I'm not really sure if it was another time that I could recall. I lost somebody via that type of situation. I think he was the only one, I believe, but if I could recall, I definitely remember. But that's dramatic, and I remember that one, and I don't remember another one that somebody died from that type of situation.
Okay.
Dr. Reed,
so
could I
that's a
insert
very...
something there? Dr.
Yes,
Reed?
please. Yes,
Just to
please.
release everyone, one of my colleagues who is a dentist, by the way, just 2 weeks ago, he's about in his late 40s, went to the Bahamas to do a marathon race, and he collapsed and dropped dead during the race. So I know exactly what he's saying, and you imagine how much training you have to do a marathon. With all the training and then running a race where you're really pushing yourself and you're malnourished because you've not been able to put back in your body what it needs, that's some of the consequences, you know. So we just recently had that happen in our profession with the young man who died just from what you're talking about. Just wanted to share that real quick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And the call is just about over because I think the most important parts have been established. Number one, we all understand that exercise and moving the body, getting the blood flow going is a really good thing. But a lot of people believe that exercise is all you need to be healthy. The truth is, exercise without nutrition will kill you. And it's been established over and over. We have not only weekend warriors or college students, but this is also happening to professional athletes. And we all know stories of professional basketball players, professional runners, just dropping dead. This is the cause. It's the exercise without nutrition. And that's the reason why I strategically asked certain people to get on this call, because the accomplishments that you're trying to make are phenomenal. But if there's information that you don't have in order to make your goal successful, it can easily turn into a tragedy. And so the information that we have today is very important because you have children that are playing these sports. You have college-age students that are playing sports. And you also have adults and older adults that are doing sports. Your sports endeavors are phenomenal achievements. But without your nutrition, it can turn into a tragic experience. And just if we look at it from that perspective and understand that, we can also see how minor injuries or major injuries don't always need surgery, right? Kevin had a torn meniscus, and they said you cannot play unless you take a supplement, unless you get surgery. And a lot of times we believe that surgery is our only option for repair and recovery, and that couldn't be further from the truth. We know that there are 90 essential nutrients that the body needs. Every 90 days, every cell regenerates except your central nervous system. If you give your body what it needs, it will heal itself. And I believe that Kevin's meniscus tear healed quicker than it would if he did surgery and then rehab, right? Because if a person does surgery and rehab, the part that's usually missing is the nutrition. And so if you receive any value from this call, I would hope that you would share it. I'm going to kind of play with it and put it in a format that you can share it with someone else. But this information was designed specifically for you. You know why? Because all of us know someone who's playing a sport. We have a child that's in a sports team. We have people that are weekend warriors. And we have college-age students that are trying to reach their ultimate goal of accolades in sports and activity. And some of them hope to go to the pros. But they can't do it or can't succeed without proper nutrition in their diet. So I really thank everyone for getting